Hello everyone, and welcome to the weird, scary and horrible parts of humanity. Today we are looking at one of the world's most prolific serial killers who murdered over 100 children, Javed Iqbal. Born in 1956 in Lahore, Pakistan, Javed Iqbal lived a highly privileged childhood. The sixth of 8 children, his father was a well-off trader. During high school, Iqbal attended the Islamia High School and following high school attended the government Islamia College in Lahore. Owning a 200cc motorcycle, Iqbal used multiple ways to lure and feed his lust for teenage boys, through making pen pals through magazines on children. After getting photos of his pen pals, he would make a list of attractive boys with whom to maintain a friendship and became something of a sugar daddy for these boys, spending thousands of rupees on gifts, perfumes, tickets, and coins. While in college in 1978, Iqbal started a still recasting business in a villa that his father had bought him in Shadbagh, a suburb of Lahore. Iqbal lived in the other villa purchased by his father, where he lived with teenage boys as a pedophile. He opened the first video games shop in Shadbagh and would offer tokens to boys at reduced rates, or even let them play for free to entice them in. He would then throw a 100 rupee note on the floor, which equates to 62 US cents. He would then claim that the boy had stolen his money and take the boy into an adjacent room, often allowing the boy to keep the money. Parents became highly suspicious and cautious of Iqbal, but did not report him to police. With parents refusing to allow the children to attend his video game shop, he set up a fish aquarium, a gym, an air-conditioned school called Sunny Side School, and finally a fair price shop. A shop which sells essential commodities like rice and wheat in an attempt to lure teenage boys. All failed within a few weeks. Iqbal resisted efforts of his family to arrange a marriage for him. In 1983, he stunned family members, declaring that he had found a bride for himself. Iqbal's wife was one of the elder sisters of a teenage boy who he had raped, and the aim was to keep the boy for himself. The marriage only lasted a few months. Iqbal then married the youngest sister of one of his boys, Muhammad Iqbal. In the late 1980s, Iqbal assaulted the son of a respectable person of Shadbagh, demonstrating how broken Pakistani law is. The matter was taken up by the elders of Shadbagh, and he confessed to his crime before a panchayat at Golbar. Iqbal's only punishment was to sign a stamped piece of paper giving an undertaking that he would not do it again, and visiting 100 markets in Shadbagh market and apologizing for his crimes. Iqbal also stayed on the right side of the law enforcement through publishing the monthly magazine Anti-Corruption Crime, where he published what police officers were doing and established strong contacts. In late 1990, a man filed a complaint against Iqbal that he had sodomized his son. Shadbagh police detained his father and 2 of Iqbal's brothers after they failed to arrest him, remaining in custody for 7 days. On the 8th day, one of the boys living with Iqbal was arrested by police, leading Iqbal to surrender himself for the release of the boy, having hurled abuse at his family members for allowing police to arrest the boy. In 1993, his father died, leaving Iqbal with a share of his 3.5 million rupee estate, equating to $217,000. Flushed with cash, in 1995, Iqbal built a large house in Rana town, Shadra, with a pond, basement, and a swimming pool. He also had at least half a dozen boys to his leisure and was seen driving around town in one of his 4 cars, a Mitsubishi Pajero, a Mitsubishi Lancer, a Toyota, and a Suzuki FX. With minimal success attracting boys, in 1998 Iqbal sold his Rana townhouse and moved to Fatehgarh, Ghaziabad in Punjab. There he opened a video game shop. In September 1998, an employee named Arbab and Iqbal were severely beaten up by another employee and a prostitute and deprived of 8,000 rupees, or approximately $50. Iqbal sustained serious head injuries and remained unconscious at Lahore General Hospital in a coma for 22 days. Ghaziabad police initially registered the case as a robbery against Arbab, but following a complaint from his family and allegations that Arbab had been raped by Iqbal, Iqbal was charged with sodomy. Arrested as soon as he was released from Lahore General Hospital, Arbab was granted bail by the local court. However, with no one willing to spend money on the pedophile's treatment, Iqbal's Ghaziabad house, car and shop was sold with money used to pay for his treatment. Iqbal then moved to a 3-bedroom apartment in Sohawar with 3 boys: Sajid Ahmad, aged 16, Mamad Nadeem, aged 14, and Mamad Sabir, aged 12. In May 1999, the paedophile and sex offender became a serial killer following the death of his mother, who he was very close to, with her death sending him into a firestorm of rage and anger. However, he had dreamt about becoming a murderer since childhood. Iqbal stated, "I did it to avenge an attempt on my life by my boys, the death of my mother, and injustice in society." He would utilize his 3 accomplices in committing his murders. Aged 43, in December 1999, Iqbal sent a letter to the chief editor of Khawar Naeem Hashmi, a Lahore-based newspaper, confessing to murdering 100 boys aged between 6 and 16. Iqbal's modus operandi was to meet boys who were runaways and orphans, strangle and dismember the victims, and dump them in the streets of Lahore, as well as dispose of their bodies in vats of hydrochloric acid, dumping their bodies in the local river. Police went to Iqbal's apartment, where police and reporters found bloodstains on the walls and floor of his apartment, along with the chain that he had used to strangle his victims, and photographs of his 100 victims in plastic bags. Iqbal and his 3 boys, Ahmad, Nadeem, and Sabir, were all arrested. 2 vats of acid containing partially decomposing human remains were found in Iqbal's house, which Iqbal had left to be discovered by the police. During his killing spree, Iqbal kept a detailed account of the murders, listing his victims' names, ages, dates of their death, and kept their shoes and clothing as mementos. In his letter to the Khawar Naeem Hashmi, Iqbal stated that he planned to drown himself in the Ravi River, a river crossing northwestern India and eastern Pakistan. However, after dragging nets across the river and unable to find his corpse, police launched the biggest manhunt in Pakistani history at the time. On the 30th of December 1999, Iqbal turned himself in to the officers of the Daily Jang newspaper, an Urdu language newspaper based in Karachi. Iqbal was subsequently arrested, stating that he had surrendered to the Daily Jang newspaper because he feared for his life and was concerned that the police would kill him. Iqbal claimed that he was innocent and that the entire case was a hoax aimed at drawing attention to the number of runaway children. Over 100 witnesses testified against Iqbal. Iqbal was sentenced to death by hanging in the public square and was incarcerated at the Kot Lakhapat prison. 17-year-old Ahmad was sentenced to death. Nadeem, aged 15, was found guilty of 13 murders and sentenced to 182 years in prison, while 13-year-old Sabir was sentenced to 63 years in prison. Iqbal committed suicide on the 8th of October 2001 by hanging, utilising his bed sheets, having been beaten prior to his death, with Ahmad, with whom he shared his cell, also committing suicide through the same manner. Iqbal had previously attempted suicide twice. The suicide of Iqbal and Ahmad took place 4 days after the Supreme Court of Pakistan had agreed to hear their cases. There is significant speculation that both had been murdered, however this was never proven. Thank you for watching. Please do yourself a favour and hit that like and subscribe button and the bell icon to inform you when new videos come out. It helps more than you know and your support is truly appreciated. You'll also be seeing 2 other videos for you to check out. Until next time, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind to everyone you meet, and have an amazing day.